The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agree to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 video. Today I want to talk about some of the different things Game of Thrones could do to shock us during the final season. I'm sure that most of you by now have heard that there would be 3 major shocking events over the course of the Game of Thrones television show. Now, I actually think there have been more than that, but according to the showrunners, there would be 3 events that would really catch the fans by surprise. They said the first one was the burning of Princess Shireen Baratheon back in the 5th season. Then they said the second one was when Hodor sacrificed himself in Season 6. Now, the last one is said to take place in the final season of the show. As most of you know, I have made a few videos about this topic already because I really want to know what the final shocking event could be. This is something that most of us have been thinking about ever since we heard this would take place in the final season. I have always felt that it would have something to do with the Night King, since we don't know that much about him already. In fact, I think most of the fans are expecting it to have something to do with the Night King, but I want to talk about a different idea today. I know that some of you might call me crazy for even entertaining this idea, but let's just have some fun with the topic. Now, before we get started, I do want to make something very clear. Like I said earlier, all I'm trying to do is think of a different way they could shock the fans for the 3rd time. Just because I say these things does not mean that I want them to happen. I just want to throw around a different idea that you might not have heard in other videos yet. As I was thinking about the topic again, I thought to myself, what could they do that would really shock the fans? What could they do that fans would not see coming? So, I came up with a different idea that doesn't necessarily involve the Night King. The first thing I want to talk about has to do with Jaime Lannister. One of the last times we saw Jaime was when he and Cersei were having an argument about what they were going to do next season. Jaime felt like they had no choice but to help Jon and Daenerys because he knows they cannot defeat Dany's dragons, nor can they defeat the Night King if Jon and Dany would happen to lose that battle. This caused a disagreement between him and Cersei, which led to Jaime leaving King's Landing. Now, I think that most of us assume Jaime is on his way to go try to help Jon and Daenerys since that was one of the last things he talked about. However, even though Jaime might have good intentions, we all know he will not be welcomed with open arms. I think it's only a matter of time before everyone finds out Jaime was the one that crippled Bran Stark. The Northerners already have more than enough reasons to hate Jaime Lannister, but this revelation could send some of them right over the edge. At some time next season, this has to be addressed. Jaime and Bran cannot be in the same place at the same time without this getting revealed. After all, this is something we have all been waiting for ever since the very first episode of the show ended. Jaime needs to look Bran Stark right in his eyes and face the consequences of his actions. Now, I think that most of us are expecting to get this confrontation shortly after Jaime arrives in Winterfell. However, that might not be the case. We all know how Game of Thrones likes to make us wait, and then wait some more. Even though Jaime will most likely arrive in the first episode, they might not have the big confrontation until much later. Now, when they finally do get around to Jaime having to face justice, most of us are expecting Bran Stark to forgive Jaime for what he had done to him. We know that Bran Stark has accepted his destiny of becoming the new Three-Eyed Raven. Therefore, Bran might see Jaime's actions as something that had to happen. Most of us are expecting Jaime to get out of this somehow, some way. However, just because Bran Stark might forgive Jaime, that doesn't mean all of the other Starks will forgive Jaime. Sansa Stark or Arya Stark might want to see Jaime face some actual justice. Even though Jaime might be trying to change his life around, I can just see Arya Stark getting very angry when she finds out Jaime attempted to murder her brother. We know that Arya had her eyes set on Jaime when he was having a feast with Walder Frey. Now, do any of you remember what they were celebrating? They were not just celebrating because Jaime had retaken Riverrun, which was Arya's mother's childhood home, but also because that led to the Blackfish getting killed. Now, we can already guess what all of the other Stark bannermen will have to say about this. They will most likely want to see Jaime dead. Now, we know Jaime is trying to do the right thing by leaving Cersei. He still wants to honor his end of the agreement. But what will happen when he shows up in Winterfell without Cersei's support? Cersei did tell them that she would send all of her men to help them fight the Night King, but Jaime will not be showing up with all of their men. Now, I'm sure that Jaime will try to explain what happened, but will the Starks actually trust him? Let's actually think about everything the Lannisters are responsible for. Jaime damn near killed Bran Stark in the opening episode because he was caught having sex with Cersei. Then, in the very next episode, Cersei tries to get Nymeria executed for biting Joffrey. Now, as we all know, they never found Nymeria because Arya made sure of that, but Cersei was completely fine having to settle with Lady. Then, we know Cersei was responsible for having Ned Stark locked up in the Black Cells, and that eventually led to Ned getting executed. Then of course we have the Red Wedding. Catelyn Stark, Robb Stark, his wife, and their unborn child were butchered thanks to Tywin Lannister orchestrating the entire thing. We also can't forget what Roose Bolton said right before he delivered that fatal blow to Robb Stark. Then we had Jaime and the Lannister soldiers take River Run and kill the Blackfish. Now we know that Jaime wasn't the one who killed all of these characters, however, he is guilty by association. Cersei is the reason why half of these things ended up happening, and everyone knows that Jaime has always stood by Cersei. This type of behavior still continues till this day. Cersei agreed to work together to stop the Night King, but she lied once again. Cersei is hoping that all of them are killed, and it's just a matter of time before Jon and Dany realize this. Unfortunately for Jaime, he might be held responsible for Cersei's actions, considering they already have more than enough reasons to want to see Jaime dead. Now, who could they have killed Jaime that would shock us the most? If Jaime were to get executed, who would be the character we would not suspect to be the one to do it? It would have to be one of the characters that is closest to Jaime, which is Brienne. I don't think too many fans are expecting Brienne to execute Jaime, but can you imagine everyone's reaction if she did? Some of you may not know this, but there is a very similar scenario happening in the books right now. Let me explain because I don't know how many of you have read the books. After Catelyn Stark is murdered at the Red Wedding, they have her body thrown into the river. 3 days later, her body is found by the Brotherhood Without Banners. This is when Beric Dondarrion gives her the kiss of life. When Catelyn Stark is resurrected, she begins to go by the name of Lady Stoneheart. Now she is on a mission to kill anyone she believes was involved with the Red Wedding. She has already started to have members of House Frey killed, but she is desperately trying to find Jaime Lannister. You see, right before Robb Stark is killed in the television show, Roose Bolton says the Lannisters send their regards, but in the books, they say Jaime Lannister sends his regards.
You will give my regards to Lord Tywin, I trust.
Tell Robb Stark I'm sorry I couldn't make his uncle's wedding. The Lannisters send their regards.
The Lannisters send their regards.
As if Catelyn didn't already have enough reasons to want Jaime dead, this just adds to that list of reasons. Well, Lady Stoneheart and the Brotherhood eventually find Brienne, who still happens to be carrying that Valyrian steel sword given to her by Jaime. Even though Catelyn and Brienne were once very close, she can no longer trust her. She thinks that Brienne and Jaime are working together. Brienne is given a choice. Brienne can die right now, or she can go find Jaime Lannister and bring him back to Lady Stoneheart to face justice. This is a very tough decision for Brienne because she does have love for Jaime. At first, she cannot bring herself to turn Jaime in, so she almost sacrifices herself, along with Podrick and another character. All three of them have nooses tied around their necks. However, right as they're about to choke to death, Brienne yells out a single word. When she notices Podrick fighting for his life, that's when she changes her mind. She decides to go find Jaime and bring him back to Lady Stoneheart. The only thing is, Brienne can't just go to Jaime and say, "Hey, Lady Stoneheart wants to have a little chat with you." Jaime would never go do that alone because he knows that would not end well. So what does Brienne do? She lies to Jaime. She basically tricks him by saying that Sansa is in trouble and she needs their help. She tells Jaime that he must come with her alone or else Sansa will die. Now this is where the story ends in the books. As of right now, Brienne might actually be leading Jaime to his death. We will find out how this ends in one of the next books that are still to be released. Now you might be wondering how this could relate to the characters in the television show. Well, as we all know, Lady Stoneheart never appeared in Game of Thrones. We were hoping to see her in Season 6, but she never showed up. However, almost all of us were expecting one of the Stark daughters to take on the Lady Stoneheart persona. Some fans thought it would be Sansa because her character had grown to become much darker, while others said it would be Arya because she was already so far gone. Well, I think we all know which Stark daughter ended up becoming Lady Stoneheart. Just like her mother does in the books, Arya begins to wipe out every member of House Frey she can get her hands on. She even comes very close to getting Jaime Lannister, only he was smart enough to leave as soon as the celebration was over. If Jaime would have stayed, Arya would have killed him too. Then of course Arya was even on her way to kill Cersei Lannister next, but she went home to see her family first. Now what do you think Arya would have done if she went to kill Cersei and Jaime was there with her? Do you think she would have only killed Cersei and let Jaime go? I don't think so. She would have killed them both. So now let's bring all of this all the way back around. We are all expecting Bran Stark to forgive Jaime for his crimes, but like I said earlier, that doesn't mean all of the Starks will forgive Jaime. Now I imagine that Brienne will be one of the first characters to try to stand up for Jaime and say that he is no longer the same man that he once was. But can House Stark, or even Daenerys, truly believe that? Jaime might have given Brienne that sword, and he might have even told Brienne to find the Stark daughters to save them. But Jaime has continued to do the wrong things after this. There was even a time in the show when Jaime knew that he might have to kill Brienne if she ever got in his way. If you remember, right before he retook Riverrun, which did result in the death of the Blackfish, Brienne told him that she would have to fight for the side of the Starks. Brienne said that we might have to fight each other, and Jaime still did not stand down.
Honor compels me to fight for Sansa's kin.
Of course it does.
To fight you.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Even as recently as last season, Jaime tried to kill Daenerys Targaryen. He was literally only a couple feet away from killing her. So when you start to think about all of this, I don't think it's too crazy to think that Jaime might run into some serious trouble when he is faced with all of those crimes. Now, as I have said in some of my other videos, I believe Jaime will somehow find his way out of this. I would like to see Jaime go on and do some good deeds, but just because that is what I want does not mean that is what I will get. I also wanted to see Ned Stark take the Iron Throne, but that never happened either. If this third major event is really meant to shock us, then I think this is one of the ways they could do it. After it is made public that Jaime tried to murder Bran, one of the Starks could have Brienne execute Jaime to show that she isn't on the Lannister side, just like Lady Stoneheart wants her to do in the books. As of right now in the books, Brienne is possibly leading Jaime to his death, so maybe they do something similar in the television show next season. Now that I have talked about this in the video, this would not really surprise any of us, but I think it would shock millions of the other fans that haven't considered this outcome yet. I know this might sound crazy to some of you, but that's why it's meant to catch us off guard. Let me know what you think down below. Also, before I end the video, I'm hoping that all of you can do something for me. I don't know if any of you have noticed or not, but whenever I make a video, I never ask any of you to like the video. The reason why I don't ask is because I'm hoping that you like the video on your own without me having to ask you to do it. As of right now, I think there has only been 2 other times I have asked all of you to like one of my videos. I typically only ask once a year on my birthday. My birthday was actually on Tuesday, but since I did not upload a video on that day, I was hoping that all of you could slap a like on this video. I would really appreciate that, and I also want to thank all of you for the support that you have given me over the past couple years. To show my appreciation, I will be giving away another set of the A Song of Ice and Fire books. There is a link down below for you to enter. Good luck everyone, and I hope to see all of you come back for the next video. Have a great day. I will see you soon. Bye.